We have another Therapy Tuesday with Dr. Christy Kane, where she's going to talk about how do we balance all the hats that we wear. So I'm going to send her an invite, and we are excited to have her on today. So please post your questions for Dr. Christy Kane, and she's going to be talking about how to balance all of your hats when you have to put different hats on. So let's see, where is she? Here we go, Dr. DR. Hold on a sec. Here she is. Send invite. All right. So we are excited to have Dr. Kane on tonight. She's going to be talking about balancing multiple hats. And I look a little sweaty right now because I've been helping somebody in my ward move, which is exciting. But it's good to be back in Connecticut, but I miss my peeps in Utah. Or actually in Oklahoma. What am I saying, Utah? I'm so used to saying holler. Okay, so where is Dr. Kane? Let's see, we'll try this again. DR Dr. Kane, invite. And then, all right, so she's got the invite. Let's see if she knows what to do with it. And we'll go from there. So do you have Utah, baby, Utah? Our friend Marion Mama goes, Utah, I'm gonna be out there soon. She says it just keeps spinning. That's what Dr. Christy Kane says, is it just keeps spinning. I'm gonna say, well, keep trying. Hold on oh, she says she's unable to join. Let me see what she says. It just keeps spinning. Well, we'll try it again. So we are on waiting for you. Okay, so I use Siri to talk. Resend it to me, she says. Okay, technical difficulties. Here's Dr. Christy Kane. How are you today?
Good. I'm doing well,
hat.
thank you. It was just spinning and spinning, so thank you. Fits the topic.
Technology. You know, you never know with technology. So you wanted to talk tonight about what it's like to wear multiple hats.
Well, I think all of us struggle sometimes in life with balance, and we have to wear all the hats. Like sometimes there are hats we just can't take off. And so how do we learn to wear certain hats in certain environments and different hats in different environments and still maintain balance and know ourselves? And so that was the topic I thought would be interesting for tonight's discussion.
That's great. So what would you like to, first of all, I have to tell you, I love the video you did where you were really raw and open about your experience in dating.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
I just want to commend you for that because, you know, people do need to look past, like you said, look past the initial perception to find out more about what's in someone's soul and heart. And that's just, you know, maybe we should do a talk on that next time.
We can do that. Yeah, so, I think we judge too quickly in today's world, especially in a world that is so social media, superficial based in some aspects. And so, yeah, we can talk about that. But today I think it's about balance. You know, I want people to think about, what hats do you wear? Some hats we have to wear, not because we want them, but it's a requirement of our job. And we may feel that hat doesn't fit us. Other hats we put on if we're trying to hide, which isn't always beneficial. And then there are hats that we wear because they're needed and they're appropriate. And they're hats for our roles as like mother, father, daughter, son, member of the church, employee, community activist, you know, author, speaker, whatever.
Yeah.
So how do we balance life wearing the hats, even some hats we don't want to wear but have to?
Yeah, that totally resonates. So what, like, you know, you and I are both authors and we're both public speakers. So how do you balance those hats?
Well, sometimes I fail. So let's be honest. Sometimes there's too much stress. I've learned to say no.
Yep.
I've learned to understand the capacity of my bandwidth.
Yeah.
And I've learned that when I'm wearing different hats, oftentimes there's a different Christy Kane that shows up, and that's okay.
That
you know, because I'm going to be a different person with an intimate friend versus an audience of 5,000 people.
Yes.
And that's okay. You know, some people say, well, don't be phony. And I'm like, we're never phony. We just wear
No.
different hats in different environments. Well, I guess some people could be phony, but usually there's a hat we wear at work, and that's different
Yeah.
than the hat we wear at home. And so it's balance, saying no, and recognizing which hat for which environment.
Yes, exactly. You know, I remember when I first was interviewed by the mission president to be baptized, he was really stern. And then afterwards, after I got to know him, he became a really good friend because that was a hat he needed to wear at that time. He needed to be firm to make sure I was making the covenants with God and that I knew exactly what I was getting into.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Right.
once that was over and once he was released, I saw a completely different side of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And we have to respect that, and we also have to learn that balance and boundaries. Like, there are reasons for hats in some settings to keep us safe, to keep us emotionally protected. There are reasons for other hats in different situations that, allow us to be more intimate and more connected. And
Yes.
sometimes we mess up the hats,
Yeah.
and that's not mentally healthy. And so we've got to know which hat in which environment and which setting and for how long.
Yeah. So when you say mess up a hat, give us an example. Like if I'm trying to be a friend to somebody, but yet I'm wearing a presenter's hat. Is that what you're talking about?
So, for example, some people in the desire to create a friendship wear an intimate hat that's way too open, way too revealing, and way too intimate at the very beginning, and that scares people away.
Yeah.
Sometimes people can wear hats because they've been hurt.
Yeah.
That's constantly distance and maybe a little defensive, and that doesn't work. And so it's those, and like for you, Dennis, and I find this as well. I may be speaking, meeting a person, trying to understand them, but I'm not going to have the bandwidth to be their intimate friend.
Yeah.
And so I have to help them understand that although in that moment I'm listening and I'm attentive, this hat is only temporary because they need to find someone else that fulfills that role.
Yeah. Now we have a question, and I'm going to get to everyone's question, but one that just popped up sparked my interest from QKOH said, new marriage hat. That's a good one.
Yeah. You're learning the hats to wear in a marriage because you're learning how to meet each other's needs while still meeting your needs, holding appropriate boundaries, exploring places you've never been before, especially if in the intimacy of the bedroom. And so, yeah, in a marriage, there's a lot of new hats, and some of those hats can be confusing and uncomfortable, and that's okay. That's part of development.
Now, my friend Tamara asked, she says, what does it mean to be present versus a friend?
So, for example, when I meet a person in the audience and they want to tell me something very personal because of the topic that I've talked on, I can listen and understand, offer counsel, but I then direct them to find those around them that can help because I'm not going to be able to do that. So I don't share a lot of intimate details about my personal life because that's not my role at that time. My role is more of an advisor and to listen and then redirect.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense because I think a lot of us need to, yeah, it really does. So we had our friend Marion's daughter says, I love that wisdom, not being fake, just wearing a different hat for different occasions. Thank you. So, and I think that's pretty much it. Tamara, did you have anything else you'd like to ask my friend, Dr. Christy Kane? We do these talks every Tuesday night, Therapy Tuesday with Dr. Christy Kane. She's based in Highland, Utah, and she is available for public speaking, firesides, devotionals, TED Talks, you name it. She's done it. She's also advisor for the church. And we have our friend Sherry says, empty nester hat. What would you have to...
So there's a couple. Let me address the one that says, is it okay to retire a hat? And how can we do that? Like leaving even if people don't want you to go. And the answer is yes. If it's for your mental health and the right choice in your life, it's always appropriate to hold your boundaries, because if you don't take care of you, you can't take care of others.
Yes.
An empty nester hat is a different one, because that empty nester hat can come with lots of things, a lot more free time, maybe more loneliness, maybe wondering now what is the value of my life now and where do I go from here. The wonderful thing is, like, I'll tell you a fun story. I just ordered a custom hat to be made because I like hats. And I found out there's this little shop in Springville that makes custom hats. This will be one of a kind, made just for Christy Kane. And the reality is, as I think about that, all of the things we engage in, regardless of the role, needs to be a custom hat that we make for ourselves in the way that we interact with the world.
That's true. That's true. And my friend Tamara says, with a smiling emoji, I only have about 2 hats. True. So that is so true.
If she only has 2 hats, that's great. Maybe she needs to go hat shopping.
Well, I can take you hat shopping anytime you want. But I got to tell you, being in Oklahoma last week, I saw some pretty cool hats. So I was impressed. And that happens to be my bishop's wife that's talking. So, so anyway, Sherry, thank you for the love. Tamara, thank you for the love. Tamara, I do love hats. Well, we got to find a good hat shop in Connecticut, Tamara, or we have to go back out to the planet of Utah. And we can go to Springville with Dr. Christy Kane. Do you have any other advice for our friends on tonight, Dr. Kane?
Be kind. Don't judge your hats. Understand them and recognize when to put them on, when to take them off, and which hat belongs where. Like, sometimes it's a red hat, sometimes it's a white hat. I used to own residential treatment centers, and I told the youth when I was coming out, if it was a black hat I was wearing, they hadn't done the things that they needed to do. If it was a white hat, they had. And so every time I showed up, they were asking which hat Dr. Kane had on. And so we just need to think about that in our lives.
That's awesome, Dr. Kane. So as always, thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. And I will share this as IGTV so you can share it with your friends. And up at the top bar, click follow Dr. Christy Kane. If you're not already, I highly encourage it. And have yourself an amazing night. Make it yours.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Dr. Kane.